Hi, this is Victoria Meyer. Welcome back to the Chemical Show, where chemicals means business. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to partner with ACC, the American Chemistry Council, to bring you interviews with executives, including Chris John of ACC, Mike Hines of BASF, and Bonnie Tully of Evonik, that we recorded at the ACC's Responsible Care and Sustainability Conference. If you haven't heard them, I'm going to add a link to the show notes and on our website. You definitely want to check them out. For the next two episodes, I get a chance to bring you another ACC partnership, this time featuring award winners from their 2024 Sustainability Leadership Awards, which recognize outstanding ACC member companies and the contributions that they are making in priority areas, which include product safety, innovation, and transparency, environmental protection, circularity, social responsibility, and a special award for external collaborators who are not ACC members necessarily, but who are partnering with members to advance sustainability. I think these awards are great. I had the opportunity to participate on a judging panel for one of the awards. And what I have to say is there are so many amazing efforts going on across the industry to create a more sustainable future and to partner with our customers, our community, and the world around us. Today, I am bringing you interviews from two of the award winners. The first person you're going to hear from today is Matt Adams of EFC Gases. EFC won the Environmental Protection Award for their pretty novel neon recycling project. We're going to hear more about that. And then the second person I'm bringing you today is Robert Dishman of Cyclx. And Cyclx won the External Collaborator Award for the work that they are doing with ExxonMobil and LyondellBasell and others to advance plastic circularity. So they both have great stories that I know you're going to want to hear, so stay tuned. First up, here's Matt. Hi, I'm talking with Matt Adams, who is the Executive Vice President at EFC Gases and Advanced Materials. EFC was awarded the Environmental Protection Award by ACC for its neon gas recycling system. We are going to be talking about that today and about how really this is a story of where necessity is the root of innovation. And that's something that I think we're going to hear from Matt as we talk about this. So Matt, welcome to the Chemical Show.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really happy to be here.
Yeah, really great to have you here. So let's just start a little bit talking about EFC
Sure.
and just who you guys are.
Yeah, so EFC is a company that's been around for a little over 20 years. We are a major supplier of gases and advanced materials to the semiconductor market, as well as the aerospace industry. We also supply critical materials to the industrial gases market, materials that are used to supply gases that are used for the electrical grid, making sure that we have electricity running to our homes and businesses and things like that. So we have we're sort of uniquely positioned in the marketplace where we have focus on those industries and supply quite a number of materials for those applications.
That's very cool. So can you tell us just about what this neon gas recycling system is, what sparked it, and how it's getting used today?
Yeah, sure. So neon is a material that's used in an X-ray laser application. It's part of a gas mixture that creates a light source that's used for lithography applications at the semiconductor fabs. And what we found was during the war between Russia and Ukraine, there was a major impact to the global neon supply chain, and that's the second major impact to the global neon supply chain in the last eight years or so. So the industry really needs neon as part of this gas mixture for this X-ray laser application. It's really critical for the entire industry. So what EFC did is we worked with one of the OEMs, one of the laser manufacturers themselves, to develop a neon recycling system. Neon today it's in the atmosphere, and you gather the neon out of the atmosphere through a cryogenic process, and that neon is then used for several applications, but the biggest one being for semiconductor. So what we decided we were going to do is look at another way of getting neon to the end user. And in the X-ray laser application, the neon is used, but it's not exhausted. So as the gas is exhausted out of the laser, it is in very high concentration, somewhere in the 96% range. So that is the highest concentration of neon that exists on planet Earth, is in the exhaust line of this X-ray laser. So we decided to tap into that exhaust line and capture that neon. And what we can do is we can actually take it, bring it back to our factory, and remove any impurities that are in that gas, and effectively bring it back to the original specification required for the laser application. And so that, because of the two major upsets in less than 10 years to the marketplace, there really was a demand to do something about neon, and how do we make it more sustainable, and how do we make the supply chain more robust. And so this was a great opportunity to bring a solution to the marketplace.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And I think most people, myself included, I think of neon and I think of like bar signs, and neon lights in Vegas and elsewhere, et cetera. So I guess, I hadn't fully appreciated the role that neon plays in semiconductor manufacturing. Um, and obviously, I mean, it exists around us, right? As you pointed out, we're breathing it on a everyday basis, as long as we're
Right.
still breathing. So it's something that's naturally occurring, but has to get concentrated, as you point out, for the manufacturing processes.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And what's also really interesting and unique about this solution is to extract neon from the atmosphere. As you mentioned, we're breathing it right now. You really need to get down to cryogenic temperatures. It's very energy intensive. So when you're using a lot of energy to extract neon from the atmosphere, of course, you're creating a lot of carbon. There's a whole challenge around managing that. But if you recycle neon with our process, you don't have to get to cryogenic temperature. So that saves a lot from a CO2 perspective. An average fab could save maybe 250,000 metric tons over a 5-year period, just by using a recycled system versus mining effectively neon out of the atmosphere.
Yeah.
So in our process, we are able to extract the impurities from the source, the laser itself, and again, without using cryogenic temperature, through technologies that we have developed in house, and restore the neon back to its original specification.
Yeah. And I mean, it really makes sense to be able to do that, because it's obviously, if it's not getting consumed in the process, it's there to help the process, but it's not getting consumed. And then, of course, cleaning the impurities out versus concentrating neon, it sounds like, is far less energy intensive. So therefore, theoretically less costly. I'm not going to talk about your cost basis, that's yours. But certainly using less energy, electricity, and what have you that's required to create neon in other formats.
Yeah, absolutely. And just from a cost perspective, our solution is very competitive with the existing supply chain, so to speak. And again, you get the GWP benefit versus the existing supply chain as well. So in that, when you're looking at that exhaust stream of neon coming out of the laser at the 96% concentration level versus the parts per million level in the atmosphere, it really makes sense to invest in mining that gas from the exhaust line versus mining it from the atmosphere.
Yeah. What's your customer response been? Was this something they were looking for and they didn't know that it was available, or have they been happy with what you've been able to provide for them with the solution?
Yeah, so the feedback really it started with the customers going to the laser manufacturers themselves and saying, "Hey, this is the second time now. What are we going to do about this?" And that really spurred the conversation of, how can we do this better? How can we do it more efficiently? And how can we do it more with a more stable supply chain? So that sort of spurred that conversation on. and we met with some folks in the industry and said, hey, we think we have a solution here, and this will make neon much more stable, the supply chain. Our efficiency in our recovery process is better than 90%. So you can imagine if you're recycling, better than 90% of the neon that's already exists in the world, just how much of an impact that can have on the supply chain. So the customers demanded this of their, supplier of the lasers themselves, and that's started us down this path of working together. And so we were able to work with the OEMs and develop this technology that allows the neon to be recycled. So the interest around it is tremendous, and we are actively working with many fabs on how do we actually go about getting this installed, and we're doing all of the detailed engineering reviews and line walks and things like that. So we do believe that this technology is actually expandable into some other applications that also makes it very interesting for those end users. So far it's been going great.
That's really cool. And obviously, ACC awarded you guys the Environmental Protection Award. Part of that is really a big piece of that was this carbon and greenhouse gas reduction and the potential that provides, and really just how you've partnered with your customers and with the value chain. But I also see this as really part of the overall story of, sustainability in semiconductors, circularity, right? We talk a lot about circularity
Yeah.
in plastics, but the reality is finding ways to be circular in multiple products, really in all products across these manufacturing cycles, becomes really critical from an environmental perspective, from a cost perspective, and as you point out for your customers, from a supply chain reliability perspective, it's been really helpful.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. If you look at the fabs themselves, the end users, the manufacturers of these computer chips, they all have announced their carbon goals, right? Their sustainability goals to the marketplace, and it's a Google search away. You can see what everyone is committed to, but of course, in the semiconductor world, when you're making a computer chip, you don't like to make changes, right? It's a very complex technology. Once you have a sort of your recipe locked in, you don't really want to make changes. So there's always this sort of dynamic of how do we do things differently? We don't want to make changes, right? So, but in order to meet your sustainability goals, you do need to do things differently for obvious reasons, right? So when we can bring these technologies to bear and say, hey, look at the environmental impact this can have, and not only that, but look at the impact it can have to your supply chain, making sure you have a sustainable supply chain. And oh, by the way, on the cost basis, when these neon crises hit, neon pricing, went through the roof. I mean,
Sure.
it was multiple times. I mean, it got like just extremely expensive to source neon, right? And neon is a rare gas, and what happens when something is rare? Any type of impact to the supply chain, impacts the price. And so, for the first time, literally ever, an end user can have long-term sustainable pricing for neon, for a rare gas. That's never been able to be done before, because there was no way to have enough visibility and the ability to go have long-term agreements on a rare gas, on something that goes up and down and all these things. But not anymore. Now, because we're getting better than 90% efficiency, we can actually provide long-term sustainable pricing into the marketplace for the first time ever.
That's cool. That's cool. It's really even a risk management element for these customers.
Yes, we can take the worry about when's the next neon crisis going to hit. We can take that completely off the table.
So what's next for EFC in its sustainability journey?
Yeah, so for us, recovery of material, recycling material, that's core to what we do. And one of the reasons we were able to provide this solution, build it from scratch and provide it very quickly, is because we have a lot of experience around recovery and recycling of materials. We are the largest recycler of SF6 in North America, for example. There's quite a number of materials that we have recovery and recycling on, and especially in the rare gas market, not only neon but krypton and xenon. We have our own equipment division, so we design and engineer, build recycling systems for various applications for various gases. In addition, EFC is invested in our own R&D laboratory, an advanced laboratory. We've also invested in advanced analytical laboratory with clean room and metals analysis capabilities, and we've developed an ability to synthesize novel chemistry. So EFC has developed materials that we are now working with the OEMs and the end users for next generation. And what that means is we can take some of the legacy gases, etchant materials that aren't the most environmentally friendly materials, and replace them with new chemistries and that are much more environmentally friendly. And where that technology doesn't exist today, we can actually take take materials and recycle them using these technologies that we developed and the equipment that we've developed. So so there's a lot going on around our ability to recover, recycle, and develop novel chemistry. All that has not only an impact on the supply chain and the stability of the supply chain, but also an environmental impact as well, and significant environmental impact.
It's great. Thank you. This has been really cool. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Matt. I sure did. And so many great insights. I learned so much about neon and its role in the value chain, and really its role in the criticality of semiconductors and chips and the things that we are relying on today and into the future. So important. And really, my number one takeaway from my interview with Matt is necessity creates opportunity and opens the door to innovation, right? So if you are a Schoolhouse Rock fan like I was as a kid, Mother Necessity, where would we be, right? Necessity always drives innovation. And it's awesome to see how the EFC Gases crew has really taken and embraced and created solutions that protect the environment, which is the number one thing they've gotten recognized for, but also really strengthens the supply chain and does it in a really meaningful way, in a critical way for our current and future economies. Next up is Robert Dishman from Cyclx. Robert and I had a great conversation talking about plastic circularity and the unique partnership that started with ExxonMobil and LyondellBasell and Cyclx to come together and find a solution for a critical problem, plastic waste, gathering plastic waste to be able to bring into advanced recycling and create a truly circular economy. Such a critical initiative, but also has since expanded to include a number of other companies, including Braskem, Eastman, Sabic, and Total, and probably a few others. So if you're one of them, you can let us know. Anyway, so I think this is a great story about collaboration across companies with the community, because the community of Houston, which is where this project has started, is so critical in this story, and creating solutions, innovative solutions to critical problems. Listen to Robert. Let me know what you think. I'm talking with Robert Dishman, who is the VP of Strategic Relationships for Cyclx. Through his career, he's worked with plastics, from collection, processing, plastic manufacturing, recycling, and environmental services at companies big and small. And it's really put him in a position to help companies, plastics companies, municipalities, solve some of their biggest circularity and environmental goals, which is a great fit for what he is doing with Cyclx. Cyclx is a joint venture formed by Cyclx with its partners ExxonMobil and LyondellBasell, where they teamed up to form a company and a consortium to advance plastics recycling in North America. Talking to Robert today because one of the recognitions that Cyclx has received is they were awarded the External Collaboration Award in 2024 by the American Chemistry Council. So we're going to be talking about partnerships, collaboration, and why that is so critical in our world today. Robert, welcome to the Chemical Show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Cyclyx.
So Cyclx is focused on improving the amount of plastic that is currently collected and, more importantly, keeping plastic out of the landfill. As you mentioned, our approach uses a consortium model that brings industry stakeholders to engage and support development of new recovery solutions. We leverage chemistry to identify the chemical composition of the plastic to help determine the highest and best use, and that could be whether it goes to mechanical or advanced recycling. But more importantly, we're focused solely on reduction of landfill-bound plastics.
Yeah. And I think of Cyclyx as being polyethylene, just I think primarily because of the connection with LyondellBasell and with ExxonMobil. But it sounds like your program actually goes broader than that.
It does. We are partners, obviously, with Exxon and Lyondell, as you mentioned, but we are all plastics. So if, we want to, part of our solution is eliminating some of the confusion at that point of no return when you get to the curbside container and you're trying to figure out what plastic goes in and what doesn't based on local rules and legacy programs. We want to take that and eliminate that confusion by saying if it's plastic, put it in a bag and we'll take it and take it to our CCC.
Awesome. So throughout your career, you've played some key roles in industry partnerships. What makes this partnership with Cyclyx or in Cyclyx unique?
So I think there's several elements that makes this unique. One is the consortium model, right? We have diverse organizations with different or similar challenges in the plastics world. As you mentioned earlier, some polyethylene, some polypropylene, polystyrene, ABS, whatever. We have a combined focus on hard to recycle plastics. It's simply the scale and investment in what we're doing. And as you mentioned, we have two great partners, along with our parent company, Cyclx, that have just supplied, the capital needed to really get this off the ground. We have a 20-year database of chemical composition of plastics. And, we like to say it's kind of the chemistry here that helps us understand. And again, I mentioned the highest and best use of plastic. That composition helps us determine, is this feedstock that's suitable for mechanical recycling, or is this feedstock suitable for the advanced recycling programs?
Yeah, and you have to be fairly sophisticated to be able to do that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. So I know that, beyond its early partners, the consortium has grown, right, to encompass a number of other companies, including Braskem, Eastman, Sabic, and Total. What's been significant about that?
So I think the unique thing is that, the members and the members that you've mentioned and all have very similar challenges, right? And whether it's the specific plastic type or others, it's all trying to keep plastic out of the landfill. I like to look at our membership in ways that it actually amplifies our impact, right? The more diverse members we have, the more opportunity for new technologies, specific market knowledge, depending on what they're manufacturing and what they need support with, other industry partners that they can potentially bring to the table to provide solutions, basically just gives us an additional tool in our toolbox. There's market reach that we can talk about with different brands and different partners, and additional volume into an ecosystem that continues to drive innovation and accelerates our progress.
Yeah. So a big part of this, and this whole system doesn't work without the consumers getting engaged. Mm-hmm. Can you talk about that? What's the engagement? How are you guys engaging municipalities and consumers to participate in this economy, this recycling system?
So the first thing I'd do is I'd like to say, one, whoever's listening to this, thank you for listening, number one. Number two, if you're a municipality or other type of partner and you're looking for, solutions to your plastic waste and keeping plastic out of your landfill, please go to 10to90.com or cyclyx.com and reach out to us so we can connect and we can help each other, with this as this expands and grows throughout North America. I think if you look at the community, specifically to Houston at this point, our results have been extremely positive. The feedback from the community, not only the city of Houston, but also from the residents of the city of Houston, have been really positive. We started with one drop-off location. We're up to 9. We're well over 500,000 pounds of plastic diverted from the landfill at this point in time. That material obviously is being stored in anticipation of our first of its kind CCC1 opening in Houston, which we're looking for, Q2 of next year for that to happen. And stay tuned, because we're also going to be announcing CCC2, the location, in Q4 of this year.
Awesome. That's exciting. So tell me a little bit, because people may not know, what is this? What is CCC? What is CCC1?
It stands for Cyclx Circularity Center.
Okay.
And if you compare and contrast it to a traditional MRF or a legacy MRF, a legacy MRF on average about 70,000 square feet. There are some larger, there are some smaller.
And MRF being a municipal recycling facility, is that right?
That is correct. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. We have to.
Yep,
we have
absolutely.
so much lingo in our industry. I'm always trying to delingo it.
We do, and I always try to remember to say it out loud when I'm not talking within the industry. But yes, a material recovery facility. So those are basically, if you think about them, a lot of the limitations that they have are they're focused on 1s and 2 plastics. Some do 3 through 7, some don't. Some do 5, some do 6, which again creates a lot of confusion for consumers. If you live in one city today and you move next week to another city, their programs could be vastly different, right? And so we want to make sure that our 10 to 90 program eliminates that confusion, and we're looking for more municipal partners to join us in doing that, with the hopes of going past just a collection drop-off center, but then moving into curbside collection as well.
Yeah, I think that'd be great, because obviously curbside, at least to me, seems like the way to go, right? Making it easy to participate in the circularity economy. Awesome. So you've mentioned CCC1 is going to be starting up next year. CCC2 is getting announced later this year. What else should we be looking forward to?
Well, I think as we mentioned probably last year sometime, we do have a systematic approach to rolling out more CCCs. And so there'll be more of those announced in the future as we bring CCC1 on and CCC2 on. We're looking for additional industry partners. We're looking for municipal partners, as I mentioned. So if you have plastics and you're looking, call your municipality and tell them to get a hold of us. We're more than happy to, have discussions with them and help facilitate diverting plastics from the landfill.
Awesome. Well, Robert, thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on winning the External Collaboration Award from ACC.
Great. Thank you. I'd like to thank you and the Chemical Show for allowing us to share the Cyclx message.
Absolutely. Happy to do so. Thank you for listening today. I hope you really enjoyed the insights that I brought from Robert Dishman at Cyclx, which was the External Collaborator Award winner from the ACC, and Matt Adams of EFC Gases, which won the Environmental Protection Award. Great stories, great insights. Next episode, listen in, we're going to be talking about the Circularity Award winner, social responsibility and community engagement, and product safety, innovation, and transparency, all 3 very critical facets. Thank you for listening today. Keep listening, keep following, keep sharing. And if you are not currently a Chemical Show subscriber, do it. Number 1, follow us on Apple or Spotify or YouTube, whatever your favorite place is to listen to podcasts. It definitely matters. Head to our website, thechemicalshow.com, and sign up for our email list. I will assure you, we do not spam you, but we bring you interesting insight, critical insights, making sure you're up to date with what's going on in the Chemical Show and across the industry. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you soon.